Good evening, Portland Art Museum and Northwest Film Center members. Welcome to our members update, looking back and moving forward. My name is John Goodwin, and I am the Major Gifts Officer here at the museum. And I'm also the new Zoom Master of Ceremonies. We're all wearing new hats this year, as you can imagine. I'm on the third floor of the Mark Building. I'm sitting in front of a work by Gary Simmons. Also, across from me here is a sculpture by Kehinde Wiley, and a few steps away is a large painting by Mark Bradford. So I'm just about as close to heaven as I will ever be. I love art and I love posting about it. So stay in touch by following the museum and me on Instagram at JohnGPDX. I look forward to hearing from you. While we can't be together in the Witzel Auditorium this year, we have a great event planned for you. We have videos, we have presentations, and a few surprises too. This past year, it has been a lot, and so many wonderful memories, and also very difficult times. Tonight, we will reflect, dig into relief and recovery efforts, and we will also reimagine a bright future. Thank you so much for your membership and for being here with us. We really appreciate it. For closed captions, you can click on the CC section button in the Zoom control panel. We'll kick things off with a few words from our Portland Art Museum chair. His name is Fred Jubitz. He is doing a terrific job working closely with Brian to guide this museum through this difficult time. We'll learn more about our new trustees, and we'll also take a vote for them to join the museum. Okay, Fred, take it away.
Thank you, John, and hello to everyone out there watching from your computers, phones, iPads, and other devices. Never in my wildest dreams would I have expected to be speaking to you tonight virtually, in the middle of a pandemic and with so much uncertainty in all of our lives. Despite the changes and challenges we are dealing with, I have never been more proud to be serving as your board chair. The staff and board of the Portland Art Museum and Northwest Film Center have worked tirelessly to ensure the survival of this institution. And not just survival, but also keeping connected with our community every step of the way. Thank you, members, for being here and for sharing the same passion for art and connection. And now we will watch a video that shares the slate of trustees approved by the board at the September 24th meeting. Nominees who are new to the board will also share some special messages.
I have to say, my favorite outing so far this year has to be the Venice VR expanded event I attended at the museum last month. It's very clear to me that there's a lot to unpack when we use the term cinema unbound, and I look forward to exploring that with all of you in the years to come.
I've had the good fortune to visit museums all over the United States and Europe. Those experiences has really opened my eyes to the wonderful way art can travel throughout cultures and centuries. I hope those experiences allow me to help the board reach out to our community here in Portland, build bridges, expand understanding, and most important, really appreciate the great art we have in the museum now and in the future.
I'm interested in the Portland Art Museum board because Native art is important to me and it's important to my community, and all of the art that you have in the collection has a story to tell, and I want to share those stories with you. I should go.
When I think about what energizes me the most about working with the museum, it really comes down to the museum's commitment to engage more deeply and more broadly with the greater Portland community. I think we're living in interesting times right now, and art is an important and powerful tool in bringing people and community together.
I joined the board with the goal of giving back to the community by joining forces with the rest of our trustees who are seeking ways to bring more people to experience this wonderful museum, and especially to influence our children through art and global knowledge.
I love the way the museum has expanded its scope, not just through robust community partnerships, but with creative exhibits like Animating Life and The Shape of Speed, as well as the virtual Artist in Residence series and Venice VR. We need to do more as a city to support arts and culture, and by working with the museum, I'd like to do my part.
Art delights, imagines, provokes, and inspires, touching our hearts and minds. I believe the Portland Art Museum is essential to the vibrancy of our community, enriching all of our lives.
As an Indigenous woman, I feel like art, life, and story are intimately linked, and the Portland Art Museum, it offers a space inside the four walls, but also outside in our community to amplify that message.
Hi, this is the visual artist Carrie Mae Weems, and I am a brand new board member for the Portland Art Museum, where I've had the extraordinary opportunity of having two major retrospectives. Art, music, dance, literature are crucial to our lives and to our very survival. It's the soul of a nation. It's the way that we come to know the world around us and ourselves. It's our way of understanding this extraordinary thing we call life. It's our emotional barometer that goes beyond language and that anchors meaning and purpose in our lives. And through it, we navigate and confront the extraordinary issues of our time and mark the changes that are taking place in an ever-changing world. There is no doubt that art expands the meaning of our lives. I'm in love with art. I don't know what I would do without it. It's changed every facet of my life and my time here on this planet. It shaped how I see and how I feel. I don't know really what the world would do without art. I can't imagine a world without it. And so we need to support art, artists, and the cultural institutions that bring it to us. We need to support art like our very lives depend on it, because frankly, it does. There is no other place other than religion that we can turn to for salvation, for understanding, for that deep dig into the truth. There is simply no other place like art. And I suppose that in some small way, art is our contemporary religion, our place of solace, the place that allows our imaginations to run wild and free, a space where we find hope, freedom, and where we seek truth, justice, wisdom, wonder, and magic. So this is Carrie Mae Weems, asking you to support the Portland Art Museum.
What a great group of new trustees. Normally, I'd ask for a motion to approve their election to the board, but since we are not in person, we'll move ahead to the vote. I will ask members to use the poll that just popped up on your screen to vote yes, no, or abstain. We'll keep the poll open for just a few seconds, probably 5 to 10 seconds. Thank you all for voting. And to this incoming slate of trustees, we are grateful for your participation and investment in this museum. The Board of Trustees also recommends the following individuals to continue as officers for the next year: Fred Jubitz, Chair; Pat Green, Vice Chair; Cindy Miletus, Vice Chair; Mark Franzen, Treasurer; Mary Lee Boakland, Secretary. Thank you all for your continued service. And now it's back to John.
Thank you, Fred. You did a fantastic job. And I'd just like to say that we greatly appreciate all that Gail and you do for the museum. Welcome and thank you to our new trustees. The museum is a great place to be, and we're so glad to have you join us at this important time. Your expertise is greatly appreciated. Congratulations and thank you. I don't know about you, but even though I already knew that Carrie Mae Weems was joining the board, I am still starstruck. She is a powerhouse, and we're so glad to have her. Thank you, Ms. Weems. And now, we are going to shift just a little bit over to reflect on the incredible things that have taken place in the past year here at the Art Museum. To do that, I want to introduce you to our nationally respected leader, the former president of the Association of Art Museum Directors, and now we are lucky to have him here in Portland as our director and chief curator. Welcome, Brian Fariso.
Thank you, John, and thanks for the introduction, and so nice to have so many people here with us tonight. I'm joining you from my office, where you can see behind me over my left shoulder a very beautiful Jules Olitsky painting from 1965. I also have in my office an intimate 1935 modernist landscape by Maud Kearns. And for those of you who don't know her, she was a leading painter from the region who was also a teacher at the University of Oregon. I also have a 2,000-year-old Han Dynasty horse, reflecting this museum's strong connection to the art of Asia. All of these works can be found online on our website and are in addition to my daughter's work of art, which I wanted to share with you, and are constant reminders to me the importance of school children and art making to our mission as a museum. Coming into our museum throughout this pandemic has given me much needed inspiration and resolve. Although it has been quiet for a few months, I am now pleased that we are slowly reawakening, welcoming staff and visitors back on site. With this crisis, members are more vital than ever to this museum, and I look forward to providing you with an update on what your support has allowed us to do this year and these past 6 months. In the short term, our priorities are financial stability, centering equity and inclusion, ensuring that all Oregonians are welcomed to our museum and film center. And third, continuing to focus on our Connection campaign. You'll hear about these topics and more in this presentation. As our country and city have been managing the pandemic and hearing the call for racial justice, I'm excited to share with our members where the museum and film center is in our racial equity work. We convened our equity team, which I am a proud member of, in 2016 with staff from across many departments. Our work began with reflecting upon the deep roots of institutional racism in our country, state, and museums as a whole, as well as listening to our colleagues and artists of color. In January of this year, we shared the museum's equity statement, a document that was developed by our equity team, approved by our board, and serves as our equity guide. This statement holds us accountable as we strive towards ensuring our institution is welcoming for all. It is a living document that will evolve as we recognize that this work is about creating lasting and meaningful change. The statement can be found on our website, and I encourage you to take a look. We have come a long way, but also have much more to do as we center equity and inclusivity in all areas of our museum. Despite the challenges we are now facing, this past year held many bright spots. Exhibitions, both big and small, attracted thousands of visitors, including Paris 1900, Hank Willis Thomas, All Things Being Equal, Volcano, Mount St. Helens and Art, and Art and Race Matters, the career of Robert Colescott. One exhibition in particular had a transformative impact on our museum and our city. Hank Willis Thomas, All Things Being Equal, welcomed over 100,000 visitors. After the exhibition closed in Portland, it traveled to leading museums, including Crystal Bridges Museum of American Art in Bentonville, Arkansas, and is now on view in Cincinnati. Hank was kind enough to record a message for us tonight. Let's take a listen.
Oh, hey everyone, it's Hank Willis Thomas. I am sitting here on the top of the world after the pandemic, which has been an incredible learning experience for all of us, but my head is still in the clouds for many reasons, especially that the Portland Art Museum chose to pull together, create, and publish my first major survey show and monograph around all of my work. And I'm super grateful to Sarah and Julia and Brian for all of their incredible work and advocacy, as well as John Goodwin, the amazing team at the museum, who not only put together an epic show and challenged me and helped me and worked really closely with my studio and my family to make this a really important exhibition and honor the legacy of my cousin Sanka, and also to help with travel to not only Crystal Bridges, but also to the Cincinnati Art Museum, where it is currently on display even under COVID restriction, and in this insane moment where we are living under extreme precarity, whether it be out of fear of government forces taking away our rights and our lives, or the forces of nature challenging our capacity to breathe. I think it's important in every moment that we get to have gratitude for each and every moment in our past and present that bring us true joy, and hopefully to have that be a ripple effect. And although a lot of the work and the shows that I've done is really challenging, I hope there's also an element of inspiration and hope about coming together. And when I look at the Love Overrules Neon, thanks to the George Snitzer and family on the top of the museum, knowing after 100+ days of intense violence and tension, I can only pray that there's some people who feel that love overrules and can help make that more than a work of art, but instead the law. And thank you to the museum, and the gifts keep on coming, and they come every day. And I hope you're all able to go outside free from fear and with community and families.
Community partnerships were vital to Hank's exhibition here. The presence and participation of organizations like Don't Shoot PDX, the Numbers FM, and Portland in Color were extremely impactful and appreciated. Community partnerships and education programs continue to be vital to our work. By developing a range of resources for students and educators, as well as programs featuring artists, curators, and special guests, this past year created strong connections when it was needed more than ever, while we had to be physically apart. During our closure, we brought art into the homes and screens of people not only here in Portland, but throughout the world, thanks to a new blog, video, social media channels, and online platforms like the one we are on now. We have also increased our commitment to accessibility through closed captioning and visual descriptions across our platforms. Many of these new ways of connecting will remain in place for months and years ahead. I want to also express my very deep appreciation to our frontline staff, visitor services associates, protection services officers, and facilities personnel, all who make it possible for us to be open. Thank you again. Now, let us take a look back at some of the highlights from the past year.
Thank you all for coming. It's amazing to see all these people here, and just feel really humbled and really grateful to be here with you all. Thank you guys for participating in this.
The most important thing is, for my successor, is to sustain the warm relationships, many of which I inherited from Donald Jenkins, but to sustain the warm relationships with collectors, dealers, fans of Asian art, and all of you.
It is such a privilege to be here in Portland, and I'm almost emotional being invited in this way, to give a talk in this way. In my, aside from all the stuff I'll talk about, in the last few years, I've been really passionate about how to do the work that I do better, and how to do the work that I do in a more accessible way. And I just want to extend extreme gratitude to everyone here at this museum that has made every one of my requests possible. And I'm sure that these are things that you guys do regularly, but I'm just very thankful for that.
For all of us here sharing this space together this evening, I'd like to add that thanks to Robert Colescott, we have a lot of challenging materials to discuss, to be confronted with, to navigate to the best of our abilities. I'm thankful to the Portland Art Museum, to our director, Brian Fariso, and to all my colleagues as we've been working really hard on being vulnerable together as an institution to address issues around race, equity, and inclusion.
I want to thank Brian Fariso for making it possible for this curator to retire with a bang.
Now, one of the things that attracted me to Portland is that new folks, that's me, are mixing with those who have lived here for generations, and together we're redefining how to go about the business of creating.
I think it's very important for the museum and for the community to keep your vision going in what's happening. Doesn't mean you have to accept everything, but I think you have to have a responsibility to at least show it.
It means so much that you are here with us today to learn more about how we're doing. Your words of encouragement and support over these last weeks have meant so much to us. So thank you, and please keep it coming.
The idea obviously is to try to connect everyone, see what's going on, get ideas for what people are doing, things for in the community, things that are happening here, regionally, elsewhere.
This summer, I am journaling with the Portland Art Museum, and for this week, the prompt is, what are some experiments that you're trying out right now? So in this unique time, I have been experimenting in so many different ways, big and small.
I am delighted that we are bringing art and conversation back to our listeners. As a member of the Portland Art Museum staff, it's one of the programs I'm most proud of. As Jaleesa said, it's been going on for decades without interruption through Portland winters and ice storms, and it was only the pandemic that brought it to a temporary pause.
I believe that we owe a lot of our humanity and of our healing and this moment to artists and what artists are creating. And the ability for an institution like the Art Museum to really stand up and say that at this time, artists, the humans matter, the ones who are making and the ones who've made and the ones who'll keep making work. So that brings such gratitude and joy.
We had so many new exhibitions up when we had to close the museum in March. So we're offering virtual tours that are brand new to our visitors to our YouTube channel. And this is a way for folks to get a little taste of what the objects are like within the physical space of the museum. And you'll be able to access the curators to a little bit of an extent there too, which is really wonderful.
I wanted to thank everyone for your memberships. We've had such a remarkable response from our members of renewing. Head of membership, Lisa Hoffman, sends me pictures every other day of mail coming in, and it's very reaffirming, I think, for the staff and for the team and me. It now gives me great pleasure to have our Chief Financial Officer, Gareth Nevitt, provide an overview of our finances. Gareth.
Hello, I'm Gareth Nevitt, the museum's Chief Financial Officer. During our traditional in-person annual meeting, we usually review revenues and expenses and our investment portfolio, as well as celebrating a balanced budget. This year, however, is unlike any other, which has inspired many of you to ask, how is the museum doing? Today, I'm pleased to say that the answer is as good as can be expected, thanks in large part to our committed members. During the time we were closed, not only were membership renewals sustained, but over 1,200 donors contributed to our relief effort. Due to the pandemic, our audit process has been delayed, and therefore the following numbers are draft and still subject to audit. For the first 8 months of our financial year, our results had been closely tracking our budget. We had successfully opened the Volcano and Robert Colescott exhibitions in February, and all the financial indicators were on target. The museum closed, however, on March 13th due to the pandemic, and we remained closed through the end of the financial year, eventually reopening to the public on July 16th, after implementing extensive safety procedures and with greatly reduced occupancy limits. During this period, our emergency fundraising plan generated over $2 million to make up for the losses we continue to suffer without revenue from admissions or event rentals. While membership renewals declined during the shutdown, most of you stuck with us and have continued to renew your memberships now that we're open again. The net impact on the year ended June 30th, 2020 is an estimated operating deficit of $431,000. Managing cash flow has been a primary focus for us, and thanks to our successful application to the federal government's Paycheck Protection Program and the extraordinary generosity of our donors and members, we've been able to keep ahead of expenses. Looking forward to the current financial year, we cut our budget by 30% and rearranged our exhibition schedule in response to the ongoing pandemic and general uncertainty. The good news is we were recently informed that the museum and the Film Center have been awarded $1.37 million from the State of Oregon's Cultural Trust as part of their emergency relief funding for arts and culture organizations. This public grant is a lifeline that will help offset our ongoing losses so we can continue to serve our community. Finally, our endowment stands at $56 million, with a balanced allocation across the various asset classes. We earned $2 million in income this past year, which represents a return of 3% and puts us in the 47th percentile when ranked against our peers. Our 10-year performance was a return of 8.3% compared to 7.4% for our peer group, putting us in the 24th percentile. Our endowment will be a crucial source of support as we continue to navigate the pandemic in the coming year. Again, a huge thanks to you all. We appreciate your continued support and confidence. Thank you.
Thank you, Brian and Gareth. Wow, what a year it has been. I now have the pleasure of moving this meeting along towards the future, how we recover and how we reimagine. Next, we'll take a look at upcoming exhibitions and programs and report on how the museum and the Northwest Film Center are supporting artists right now when they need support most. Here to share the details about the exciting upcoming exhibitions is Julia Dolan, my neighbor, and the Minor White Curator of Photography. Welcome, Julia.
Thanks so much, John, and hi, everyone. I'm speaking to you this evening from the museum, just outside of the photography galleries. And I'm so happy to be here to share exhibition, community, and learning details with you. While the museum was closed and during this time of reopening, we have been busy rescheduling and planning for exhibitions that will fill the galleries in the months and the years ahead. We're so grateful to have been able to extend the exhibitions that were on view when we closed in March, and we're excited to talk about exhibitions just opened and on the horizon. Extended exhibitions include Art and Race Matters, The Career of Robert Colescott, Volcano, Mount St. Helens in Art, Though There Be Fury on the Waves, Victor Jorgensen at Sea, 1943 to 1945, Apex, Ed Burrell, and Bury the Hatchet, Prayer for My Bobby, John Hitchcock. We're also working on a plan to add alternating day access to some of the galleries that have not yet reopened. Be sure to visit the website for updated gallery information when planning your next visit. Our first new exhibition to open since March is Joryu Hanga Kyokai, 1956 to 1965, Japan's Women Printmakers. This exhibition, curated by Jeannie Kenmotsu, is a timely look at the careers of the founding and subsequent members of the Women's Print Association, Japan's first printmaking society for women artists. It will be on view through April of 2021. In January 2021, we're thrilled to present Ansel Adams in Our Time, an exhibition that celebrates the visual legacy of the acclaimed American photographer and includes some of his most iconic images. More than 100 photographs by Adams, displayed alongside images by photographers working both before and after him, will offer visitors a deeper perspective on themes central to Adams's practice, demonstrate the power of his legacy, and spark important conversations about the state of the American landscape today. Up next, in June 2021, is Constructing Revolution, Soviet propaganda posters from between the world wars, an exhibition that explores the remarkable and wide-ranging body of propaganda posters that were an artistic consequence of the 1917 Russian Revolution. It also delves into a relatively short-lived era of experimentation and idealism that produced some of the most recognizable images in the history of graphic design. Our Apex Gallery will soon host the work of artist Sharita Town, who gained attention for A Black Art Ecology of Portland, the initiative she launched in 2019 to bring together community organizations in support of creating, reclaiming, and redefining spaces for Black art and audiences in Portland. In the fall of 2021, we will bring you Queen Nefertari, Eternal Egypt. The exhibition immerses visitors in the magnificent palaces and tombs of ancient Egypt and includes artifacts from Queen Nefertari's burial chamber. Queen Nefertari, Eternal Egypt celebrates the role of women, goddesses, queens, and commoners, and offers glimpses into the royal life and the daily activities of the artisans whose skillful efforts honored royalty and deities alike. Finally, looking further into 2021 and 2022, we're thrilled to have rescheduled Frida Kahlo, Diego Rivera, and Mexican Modernism, and to be presenting the original exhibition, Private Lives, Home and Family in the Art of the Nabi, 1890 to 1900, which is co-curated by the museum's own Mary Weaver Chapin in collaboration with the Cleveland Museum of Art. We also have the major exhibition, Dakota Modern, The Art of Oscar Howe, authored by our curator of Native American art, Kathleen Ash-Milby, to look forward to. Along with these major exhibitions coming to us from around the world, we want to acknowledge the amazing artists who are working in our community each and every day. These folks create art right here for all of us to enjoy and respond to challenge us and to spark conversation. Without artists, there is no museum. During the pandemic, local artists have been hit especially hard, and the Museum and Film Center wanted to support our community members, so the Artist Fund was created. Let's watch a video to learn more.
Hi, I'm Sarah Krajewski, curator of modern and contemporary art and part of the Artist Fund team here at the Portland Art Museum and Northwest Film Center. We created the Artist Fund to provide immediate emergency assistance to visual, cinematic, and new media artists during the coronavirus pandemic, and to support and sustain their creative work during the long-term recovery. So far, we have made 20 $2,000 grants to artists who have demonstrated great economic need. We have also distributed 20 $5,000 sustainability grants to artists whose work demonstrates impact and innovation as they pivot their practices during this challenging time. In keeping with our equity work, the Artist Fund emphasizes support to Black and Indigenous artists and artists who identify as people of color, LGBTQIA+, and living with disabilities. 40% of our applicants self-identify in these ways, and the majority of our grants have gone to support a broad diversity of artists in our region.
Hey, my name is Dawn Jones Redstone, and I'm a filmmaker here in town. I've had a handful of short screen at Portland International Film Festival over the years. I'm just really honored and grateful to be one of the recipients of the Reimagine Sustainability Grant. I was planning on making a feature film this year, and as you know, it's not the best year to embark on something like that. It's hard enough to make a feature, and it's particularly hard to do it in the middle of a pandemic and racial justice reckoning. There's a lot going on in the world, and I'm grateful to get to use the money to continue to develop and plan for 2021 and frankly, use art as I always do, which is to help me make sense of this world. Thank you.
Hi, this is Anthony Hudson / Carla Rossi, and I'm just saying thank you. Thank you so much for the Reimagine Artist Fund grant. With it, I'm going to be able to purchase so many more wigs. I'm just kidding. I'm not. Well, I am actually. Just kidding. Completely just kidding. No, my entire industry has died. I make visual art and theater and interdisciplinary performance, and there's no way to share it with audiences anymore except online. And I wasn't equipped to be able to do that. But now, thanks to this grant, I'm going to be able to actually start to be able to create scripts and videos and digital performances that are actually made for the screen rather than just using Zoom because we have it. So this really means a lot to me. It's already a step that I had been meaning to take and to further my career. And I really can't wait to continue to build my relationship with the Art Museum and the Northwest Film Center. So once again, from me and Carla's wigs, thank you so much.
Congratulations, and thank you to everyone involved. Programs and community partners play a central role in connecting visitors with art and with each other here at the museum and the Northwest Film Center. Recent initiatives included community partnerships that helped shape the Hank Willis Thomas All Things Being Equal exhibition, collaborating with organizations and educators this summer to encourage children to express themselves through art journaling, and providing art kits to children throughout the Portland area. Additionally, the Film Center hosted a series of film and new media happy hours at a time when community connection was so important. This fall, visitors in person or online and students in virtual classrooms can continue to count on meaningful content and conversation featuring art and issues that affect our lives. While most in-person group programs remain on hold, we have relaunched a number of popular offerings, like the Art in Conversation and In Dialogue programs, now in virtual form. We have also shifted some long-standing partnerships to digital, including Right Around Portland series, Right Around Pam, which features weekly writing prompts based on art from our permanent collection. Before the pandemic, the museum's galleries were filled with the sounds of students on any given weekday during the school year. But with field trips on hold and students mostly doing remote learning, the museum is meeting educators and community partners where they are. Over the summer, we continued our partnership with the organization Create More, Fear Less to provide programs and videos that support social emotional learning through the arts. They're accessible in both Spanish and English. And we continue to expand online resources for studying art found at the museum, such as virtual exhibitions and the annual poster project series. Thanks to the Miller Family Foundation, we were also able to provide 1,000 art kits to children and teens over the summer and fall, working with Portland Parks and Recreation, Sun Programs, Centro Cultural, and others. Please stay tuned as we continue to provide community, learning, and connection opportunities. Thanks so much, everyone. Now, back to John.
Thank you very much, Julia. I know that I don't know how you all are feeling about this, but I am stoked about how many exhibitions we have here and that are coming to Portland Art Museum. I'm excited about what is coming up, and I'm also really impressed and grateful to everyone working hard to keep art and film connected with our community, even in these difficult times. This last section of the presentation tonight is going to be a little bit different. It's all about reimagining the path forward for our museum and the Film Center. Earlier, Brian spoke with you about our equity work here at the museum. It's a topic that is very important to me. I love art, as I mentioned before, and I love museums so much that I used to be a docent here about 100 years ago. And I was a trustee for 5 years before joining Carrie's development team. I want everyone in Portland and all visitors to feel welcome here, and also our hardworking staff. Our museum is 127 years old and has been a part of the same racially problematic and oppressive structures that exist for people of color and women all over the world. But we are acknowledging this past, we're embracing positive change, and we're moving forward. I am so grateful for our equity team and their efforts. Let's hear a little bit from them as they tell us a little bit more about the work that they're doing.
Stay engaged.
Speak your truth responsibly.
Listen to understand.
Be willing to do things differently and experience discomfort.
Expect and accept non-closure.
Confidentiality.
Buenos días, mi nombre es René. When I started working at the museum, I was excited to hear that there was an equity team that was working to educate about and dismantle institutional racism, and I wanted to be a part of that effort. This effort was to create a space where everyone was welcome. The work is hard, demanding, and tiring, but the good that comes out of it will create a better tomorrow for all of us.
Hi, my name is Laura, and I'm a member of the equity team. I feel grateful to the museum for this opportunity. Every day I feel more empowered to have difficult conversations and interrupt racism when I see it. The process of learning and also unlearning is not easy, but very worth it so that I can be an ally and do better work for the museum and my community.
Hello, my name is Stephanie. I'm a docent, a member of the museum equity team, and also serve as co-chair of the Docent Racial Equity and Inclusion Committee. I feel heard and proud working with museum equity team. I compliment the museum's courage to embrace, champion, and acknowledge that equity work is a marathon, not a sprint.
Hi, I'm Julia. I'm the curator of photography and part of the museum's equity team. The equity work that we do has been the most difficult as well as the most profoundly meaningful and valuable work that I have done as a museum professional. I am truly grateful to our museum and to our executive team for believing in this work and believing in us. And I am indebted to my fellow equity team members who hold me accountable to what are now lifelong goals.
Hi everyone, my name is Oscar and I'm a membership associate for the Portland Art Museum. I've been a part of the museum's equity team for the past 18 months and I'm humbled and honored to be a part of it. The museum has been working on its equity movement for the past 4 years to make the museum a better place for our staff members and for our community. I'm so thrilled that the museum is moving in this direction, and I'm honored to be able to bring my voice to the table, to feel empowered, not only for myself, but for other people who look like me. So thank you, Art Museum, and thank you for moving in this direction.
I really appreciate those heartfelt words and the great work that the equity team is doing right now and has been doing for many years. And continuing with the reimagining theme in a huge way is our Northwest Film Center. I'm pleased to introduce one of the most tireless and creative individuals I have ever met. Amy Dotson is the director of the Northwest Film Center and the curator of new media for the museum. Welcome, Amy.
Hi, everyone, and thank you, John. What a first year on the job. I can't believe I only arrived in Portland last September, but I'm so glad to be here despite the changes and the challenges of the recent months. So let me start by sharing a few amazing highlights with viewers who might just be recently tuning in to the Northwest Film Center. We've been working hard to be the change we want to see, with the goal of bringing the world to Portland and Portland to the world, starting with the Portland International Film Festival, which increased new audiences by 40%. We also invited world-class artists, industry leaders, curators, and innovators, like Academy Award winner for 2020, Bong Joon-ho, Todd Haynes, and John Cameron Mitchell to be with us at the first Cinema Unbound Awards. But then COVID hit, right in the middle of PIF. And that certainly changed things. But it was an opportunity to jumpstart a vision for change that started back when I interviewed for this position. At the Film Center, we are reimagining what could be, both because of the changes to our world and in spite of them. We are reimagining cinematic storytelling, how stories are told, by whom, for whom, and how. And rather than waiting for normal to return, the Film Center is reimagining a future filled with creative synergy, sustainability, and surprise. Now, what does that look like? Well, we've been trying things this summer, and we will continue to do so. And these include the completely sold out 20 film Cinema Unbound drive-in, which continued to expand our audiences and was done at the beautiful Zidell Yards outside the museum and Northwest Film Center walls. It also brought in new sponsors, as did the selection of us as the US partner for the sold-out Venice Biennale's VR Expanded program. That put Portland on the international stage. And distributors took notice that Northwest Film Center became one of the top markets in the country for our new virtual screenings programs, which brought films and series right into your homes. We also focused on building community, sustainability of our local artists, and increasing shared curation with our industry happy hours, new ways of seeing weekly column, and working collaboratively with our Northwest Film Center and PAM Artist Grants. We were one of the only funds in the United States to honor film and new media artists right alongside artists in the greater field. We really hope that you'll continue to join us for what's next. Thanks, everyone.
Thank you, Amy. That was a great update. You hit the ground running and haven't stopped the moment you left New York. New York's loss is our gain. Well, now it's time for me to sign off and let Brian close out. Thank you all very, very much for your time, your attention, and your support tonight. I hope to see you in the gallery soon, and please know that we need you and that we greatly appreciate you and your continued support. Take care of each other and stay safe.
Thank you, John, and thank you to everyone who spoke tonight and participated in creating the video recordings. Before we end, I wanted to share an update about the ongoing Connection campaign. Through this historic campaign, we seek to create a more accessible and relevant museum and film center now and for future generations. The new Rothko Pavilion pictured here will improve accessibility for all, regardless of their individual abilities. Despite this difficult year, we have continued in our quiet phase to fundraise and plan for this project. My team, the board, and I are inspired knowing that our main building was built in 1930 during the height of the Great Depression, and we recognize that our actions now will certainly transcend this moment. Additionally, the endowment portion of our campaign, with the goal to raise at least $25 million to support access, education, and operations, has never been more needed, especially at a time when we had to temporarily close. We believe this campaign is essential to Portland's rebirth and an investment in our shared future. I look forward to sharing more as our campaign progresses. Again, in conclusion, thank you for your support and your renewals. We are so grateful and look forward to welcoming you back in person at one of our online programs. Thank you, and this concludes our program. Have a wonderful night and stay safe.